Hey, Motorman here, and I'm going to show you how to install this soft brake rear brake lever. Now the reason for putting these on is, if you can see over here, I could put about 4 fingers between the brake lever and the floorboard. That means your foot could be at an odd angle when pressing down on the brake. So to make it easier, especially for my wife, because she's got a little tiny foot, I think she wears like a size 5.5 or something, she has a little bit of a problem just getting where it feels comfortable for her. Plus, when this sits lower, closer to the floorboard, you don't have to lift your foot up as high, and it's easier to hit the brake, so it's actually a safer thing. And I'm going to show you the tools you need for this. We're going to go through the whole installation. You're going to need a 7/16, a 5/8, 3/16 Allen wrench, and an extension will be very helpful on your ratchet, and a 5/16 Allen. And the first thing we're going to do is take off this floorboard, and I'll show you exactly how that's done. By the way, if you hear that little buzzing, that's a fan I've got going, because in this garage it's probably about 100 degrees, so you're going to have to bear with that. So we've got one here we're going to take off, and then we've got one right here. And before I go any further, I'm going to have to take this rubber piece off, because we're going to use that on the new soft brake lever. And the easiest way to do that is to first want to squirt some WD-40 right in here, and then we're just simply going to twist it off. It's not easy, but you'll get it off. Next thing we've got to do, we want to take this master cylinder and get it loose. So you want to take this bolt, and this bolt right here. We need to take those out. Now generally, they are in there tighter than a clam's ass, because at the factory, they literally coat these with Loctite. So sometimes you might even have to get a little torch and heat up those bolts so that it melts the Loctite, and you'll be able to get it off and on much easier. So I'm going to be taking these off, and that's the 5/16 Allen wrench. With those 3 bolts removed, I now have plenty of room to get in here. And there's a little cotter pin right here. I'm going to take that cotter pin out, and then this arm will be able to be released. Now there's a washer in here. We don't want to lose that. And of course, this pin is going to then pop out. So you got the 3 bolts loose. Yeah, when you put them back on, use a little bit of Loctite as well. Not as much as what the factory used, but you've got now plenty of room to work. With this, if you don't take this off like this, if it's sitting up here, it's impossible or very difficult to get at this cotter pin and finish the job. So take out those 3 bolts. That's all it is 3 of them, Allen heads, and you'll be able to get to this cotter pin. Take that out. We'll take this arm off, and then we'll be able to put the new one on. This is the pin I removed from here. Went right up in here, and this tiny washer that went on the outside here. So you're going to get a new cotter pin with the kit. And we'll now start putting it back together after we take this arm off. Okay, next I'm going to take the new brake lever. I'm going to put some grease inside here, move it around a little bit, and then we'll just slide this right onto the shaft. Alright, so I slid this onto the shaft, and notice I got to put that pin back in, and then the cotter pin. So you got to line this up properly, stick that pin in, put the cotter pin in, and this part of it is done. All right, I got these 3 bolts back in here, here, and here. And I can tell you, it's not easy. You want to line this up so that you don't get any cross threading. And because of the Loctite that's still on the bolts, it feels like you're cross threading it, but you're really not. So I tightened this up last. I probably should have tightened this up first. That would have helped to squeeze this piece up against the frame, but that's not what I did. I got them finally tight. It wasn't easy doing it by myself, but you know, if you ask the wife, it's probably going to get it worse. All right, I got it all together. Now, as you can see, I got about 2 fingers, 2 1/4 fingers. Before I had 4 fingers high. So it is quite a drop. It makes it much easier to take your foot from here and to begin using the brake. And that's the whole point of it. I'm going to show you the difference on the other bike that does not have the soft brake lever on it. This is the stock one. I can get 4 fingers in here easily. So that means it's a lot more difficult to take your foot from here and to begin using the brake. The install is pretty straightforward. As I said, you got to be careful when you're lining up the 3 bolts that hold this whole bracket on. Make sure that you're not cross-threading them. It's best to have a person holding it as you make sure the bolts are lined up properly. And it should take you 30-40 minutes tops. If you got somebody helping you, that makes it that much easier. Until next time, this is Motorman, and like I said, softbrake.com for their levers, their clutch levers. I swear by them, and their front brake levers also, if you like it to be a little bit closer to the grip, and the soft brake pads. And I said they've got all kinds of styles of these. Some have slots, and if you want to get really fancy, he's got them on his website. Check it out, softbrake.com.